Okay, we're going to turn down to Washington, Robin, where the dust still hasn't settled from last week's budget standoff, which just barely avoided a government shutdown. But a bigger battle over our national debt has already begun. In just about a month, the federal government will hit the limit on our credit card, and the fight over whether and how to raise that limit is being described as Armageddon. Jake Tapper joins us now with more on what it could all mean from the White House. Hey, Jake.
Good morning, George. Well, that's right. It sounds so academic, a legislative battle over raising the debt ceiling, but economists warn this could have a direct impact on every American as soon as in the next few weeks. And I'm not just talking about shutting down a few national parks.
There's a lot of apocalyptic talk about what will happen if the debt ceiling is not raised and the U.S. goes into default on its debts.
The implications of that for our financial system, for our fiscal policy, for our economy would be catastrophic.
What does it actually mean to you if Congress does not allow the U.S. government to borrow more money? By mid-May, expect the stock and bond markets to start to plummet. By July, the administration, searching for money so government can function, could impose a huge tax increase. And the following could start being curtailed or cut off: Social Security checks, Medicare benefits, Medicaid, military salaries, veterans benefits, unemployment insurance, and student loan payments.
Default by the United States would precipitate a crisis worse than the one we just went through.
So what's the problem? The problem is House Republicans say any bill that will raise the debt ceiling from its current level of $14.3 trillion needs to include spending cuts.
The president says, I want you to send me a clean bill. Well, guess what, Mr. President? Not a chance you're going to get a clean bill. There will not be an increase in the debt limit without something really, really big attached to it.
So how vicious could this fight get? It's the difference between a grade school slap fight and war. Last week's intense budget fight that almost brought the government to a shutdown was about $38.5 billion in spending cuts. That's a stack of $100 bills that would reach 2,600 miles above the Earth, where satellites orbit. In order to make it to the end of next year, the debt ceiling will need to be raised about 50 times that amount, $1.9 trillion. That stack of $100 bills would reach more than halfway to the moon.
Really, the debt ceiling is going to be Armageddon.
And George, on Wednesday, President Obama will outline what aides describe as his vision for debt reduction, what they call a balanced approach. It will include spending cuts, it will address savings in Medicare and Medicaid, and of course it will also include increasing taxes on wealthy Americans.